Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for coming. As you are aware, we recently concluded stakeholder and public consultation meetings regarding school consolidation and reorganization. The consultation was held to gather valuable input and information from parents, educators, and other community members, and to listen to get an understanding of the concerns of our community. It has always been my intent as your Minister of Education to ensure that all decisions made are in the best interest of our children and to create improved learning environments for our students. The ministry is committed to get this right and not to rush forward with a plan that would create more disruption than success. Therefore, I have listened and deeply considered the thoughtful comments, feedback, submissions, and discussions on this important issue. I have learned several things from this process, and one is that the difficult challenge of reorganization will be more successful if the education system is looked at from a systems perspective. In order to do so, more time is needed, and stakeholders should have the opportunity to help support the difficult decision-making process. The ministry has taken a number of factors into consideration, and we are now prepared to outline the next steps for 2015, 2016, and the following year. In September 2015, 2 preschools will be amalgamated into 2 primary schools. They are St. David's Preschool into St. David's Primary School and St. John's Preschool into Victor Scott Primary School. The preschool at Victor Scott will become Victor Scott Preschool, paying further homage to the work of the late Mr. Victor Scott, the first headmaster of Central School. It should be noted that the idea to merge St. David's schools was brought to the ministry by the preschool administrator and the primary school principal. They collaborated to develop an amalgamation plan to make a smoother preschool to primary school transition for students, their parents, and the community. I am happy to announce that the amalgamation of preschools will be the only changes for the upcoming academic year. Therefore, there will be no primary school consolidations or closures for the 2015-2016 academic school year. I have determined that further work, collaboration, and consultation are necessary before a final decision is made on public school reorganization and school closures. This decision has been assisted by anticipated cost savings through the early retirement of several staff and other means. And so, in partnership with stakeholders, the Ministry of Education will take a more holistic approach to addressing this challenge. Over the next few months, additional research, criteria, and reviews will be undertaken in order to support a sound decision. This period of time will be used as an opportunity to review the condition of school facilities, the capacity of schools to accommodate additional students, special program facilities, environmental factors, transportation and traffic considerations, the overall operating costs of schools, and the financial viability, sustainability, and efficiency of our primary schools. The ministry also looks forward to further engaging stakeholders in the development of the school reorganization process so that they can contribute to and better understand the way forward. Towards this end, a working group will be appointed to review and recommend a plan to move forward. The working group will be responsible for recommending schools for consolidation or closure for the 2016 2017 academic year and beyond, using the initial input of decreasing the number of primary schools by one primary school per zone, i.e. East, West, and Central. Recommending plans for improving quality and consistency of programming across primary schools, keeping in mind the ideal or model school, for example, structured sports, music and art programming, improved student services, etc., and recommending opportunities for efficiencies and cost savings, and for example, more effective use of human resources, reduced maintenance costs, alternate building use, rent reductions, etc. Also, we are pleased to announce today that the registration process for preschool and primary schools can now continue, and parents should expect that notification letters will be sent out by the end of April. I would like to thank parents, principals, teachers, Department of Education staff, school alumni, and other community members for your contribution to the consultation process. I believe that together we have a genuine opportunity to improve student achievement and create stronger learning environments that will ultimately produce a school system of excellence. Thank you.
Thank you. Members of the press, if you have a question, we'll start with Trevor. Up, Don?
Yeah.
Okay, Don, say something right here.
Mr. Age before beauty?
No, continue.
Just saying. You make your point very clearly that caution and the need to keep looking at the situation has guided your thinking, but have you also been concerned about a lack of cooperation behind the scenes that you really have to tackle first?
Well, Brian, I think the consultation process went well. We've got valuable feedback, and one of the things that I think has been very consistent from myself and the ministry is that we needed to ensure that we did this process properly. Any decision that we make is in the best interest of our children, because we need to really look at putting children first and achieve those improvements in our system. And we believe that this gives us a good opportunity to do that, especially looking at the timelines and timeframes.
There's been some suggestion that the wonderful collaboration that's been shown by the preschool and the primary schools in those two instances has not been mirrored at other schools, and that's been a disappointment to you.
I don't agree with that at all. I'm not sure where that information came from, but that is not consistent with what I've heard.
Trevor, coming around to you. Trevor Lindsay from ZBM News. Sarah Lagan from Bernews.
Thank you. Are there going to be any job losses as a result of this consolidation?
No. What we've always said, Sarah, is that our goal is to go through this process without any direct job losses. And we believe it's possible to do that, but we have some work to do to sort that out.
The public meetings that you had, especially in the East End, did the public outcry, made you hold your decision in reference to the primary schools?
Trevor, I didn't have any public meetings in the East End. There were public meetings that were held at Cedar Bridge. There were multiple PTA meetings that I did attend. So what specifically are you referring to?
Yeah. Cedar Bridge, yeah, the meeting up at Cedar Bridge, my bad, yes, sir. The outcry from some of the parents and even teachers, did that make you hold your decision to put a hold on the primary school elimination or consolidation?
What we heard very clearly was that although people could understand some of the rationale we were using, it's difficult to give quantifiable feedback on specific areas as an example because we did not have any of that determined. Again, the purpose of our consultation was to ascertain whether or not we were using the correct criteria. So I look forward to further, to having more meetings, to talking with people, to let's get the community involved, because quite frankly, this is an opportunity for our community, and the community should have an opportunity to come together on this.
Where will your working party be drawn from?
Well, no specific decision has been made at this time, but our initial thoughts are that we want to have representatives, of course, from the principal community, from the teacher community, from the parents, and just the community at large. So we would like to have input from a cross range of our citizens.
You haven't tied their hands by giving them the numbers that you want to see?
Well, I think what's one of the things that I know that I heard loud and clear, as I just mentioned to Trevor, is that, you know, one of the questions that I was asked many times is that, Minister, you want us to give some input and how we can do this process going forward, but you've put no markers out there as to what you're looking at. So I think it's important to do that, but it's also important to note that with regards to the St. David's preschool and St. David's primary school, that amalgamation idea was put forward as part of the consultation process. So we are open to ideas and input from the community.
Got one more from Sarah.
Do you have any idea how much can be saved by this particular consolidation? How much money can be saved for the government?
Yeah. Well, let me address the budgetary constraints. So I think I alluded in the statement that we have had some of the pressure taken off of us through savings of early retirement and other means. One of the things that I've said very consistently, and you know, we started this process right after the education budget was debated. Right on the front page of the education budget had a line item for school consolidations. So it was imperative that we started to have this conversation. My view, which I've made very clear at the consultation meetings, that if we went through this process solely from a financial exercise, we'd be missing an opportunity as a community. I believe we have an opportunity for improved environments, for improvements in our system as a whole, with consistent programming across the board. And we now have the opportunity to look at that without the weight of having to make a financial decision over our head. So from a community perspective, we're in a better scenario.
My last question. Somerset Primary, West End Primary, Prospect, and East End, are they still under consideration, and you're just trying to get more collaboration from the parents and teachers of this 4 schools, and are they still in the chopping block for next year?
Well, if we're talking about rumors, you left one out, St. George's. Now, let me make something very clear. There is no, and there has been no specific schools on a list with regards to closing those specific schools. We've looked at things overall from a system. We've looked at things from the different zones, east, west, and central, and we would like the working group and community input and further collaboration to determine what's in the best interest of these communities. I think that it would be, we believe in the ministry that it would be short-sighted to just look at the one enrollment number at a specific school and make a decision based on that. So, and we've been very consistent with saying that.